So my name is Adam Logue, and I'm going to be covering the Lots of Locks challenge today. Do you want me to just walk through the whole thing real quick, or do you want me to just cover what I did? Okay. Sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Is that any better? All right, cool. So with the Lots of Locks challenge, pretty much you just netcat to this host on this port right here, and they provided you a word list to use, and effectively each time you received a MD5 or SHA-256 or SHA-512 hash, you would then be prompted to enter the clear text password. So it was a password cracking thing. So they gave you about, I want to say, 3 minutes to actually, go through and do all these things. So instead of automating it, the first thing I tried was actually, going through, taking each hash. I'd echo the hash into a file, and then depending on what it was.
Attention staff and all guests in the Wisconsin Center. Will the owner of a Penske truck with an Indiana plate 28634443. Again, a Penske truck with an Indiana plate 28634443. Your truck needs to be moved immediately off the dock or it will be towed in 15 minutes.
That's not immediately.
We've still got time if you want to wait. So again, in this case right here, you could either use John the Ripper or Hashcat. In my case, if I did something like John hashes, and then gave it the actual word list, which was that 10 million thing right there, and gave it the format of raw D5. Then it would go through and it would crack it, and I'd copy that, and paste it into the next part of the challenge, right? Well, again, that was taking too long to do because there's a lot of going back and forth. So I actually figured, okay, they're using MD5, they're using SHA-512, and they're using SHA-256. We can literally go to hashes.com, paste the hash here, hit submit, and it'll tell us, what it is, and then we can go back, enter it, and get the next hash. So the better way to automate this, if we only had, like 10 seconds or so, would be if you took each of the word lists, or each of the words in the word list, and then hash each one with MD5, and then hash each one with SHA-512 and SHA-256, and create a lookup table. You'd then pretty much be able to then, receive a hash, look up what type of hash it is, and then look up what corresponding word goes with that. So sort of a reverse password cracking approach in that aspect. But after I think you did about 10 of those, you get the flag down here, and that's it. Any questions? I did do it one by one. A lot of copy pasta. Yep. So I think, honestly, I could probably try to run through it really quickly. So you take this, copy, pasta, take that, paste it in there, and then rinse and repeat. So not anything too terrible. After, I think, the 4th or 5th one, then they start to actually capture you, and then you have to solve a CAPTCHA, which takes a little bit of time, but you can see how this actually is a pretty efficient way of doing it, at least as far as the manual way goes.
So this is another question, but probably more for trying on them yourself. Like, is this the way it was supposed to be solved? Yeah. Or like, it's a CTF, I understand sometimes you need to think out of the box and do things different rather than just programming and scripting.
Yeah, so the question was, is this the way that I intended it to be solved? One of the fun things, I've been writing CTF challenges for probably 8 or 9 years now. And the fun thing is that nobody ever solves them the way that I intended for them to be solved. Like that's part of the reason I wanted to do the 4-on-4 multiplayer showdown today was to show off that there are a ton of different ways that you can approach each of these challenges. So if you're doing CTF, like there is no right way to solve a challenge. I was talking to somebody else that worked on it and solved it. They actually just copied and pasted it right into Google as well. If you search Google the hash, you can get them. Part of the reason that I did 10 minutes or 3 minutes with 10 hashes is I knew that you could actually maybe solve it with a manual way if you're fast enough. The Hashcat's one of the other options. Because it's such a small word list, you can also pre-compute all the hashes. So like you can just take the SHA hash of every single one in that word list and have a lookup table. And that's like a pretty quick way to automate it. So yeah, there are a ton of different ways, and I didn't have any particular plan on how it could be solved. Yep.
Cool. Any other questions? Go ahead.
What would your strategy be if it wasn't just a strict word list MD5? Like you had to actually do a bit more work than just sticking in hashes. Like if it wasn't just doing it every single word list and getting an MD5 hash, but like the variations from the word list.
So are you saying like if the examples were stuff that was variations of stuff in a word list and we didn't necessarily have these specific words, how would I go by cracking them in an efficient manner?
If you couldn't just simply just use a very simple dictionary word list. Strategy be to go that route.
Talk about a password cracker a little bit and some of the ways we can modify word lists.
Okay. Yeah, so with tools like, Hashcat, for instance, they have several different modes and ways to actually, perform different attacks. So the basic dictionary list guessing attack is one of them, but they also offer options such as mask attacks. So a mask attack lets you take a dictionary word from a word list and then append, either like multiple characters or you could even add, specifics like only numbers after this or only symbols or only letters. And it lets you sometimes, combine, like let's say you use like rock you as a word list and then you wanted to combine, like 4 characters after that. You could actually go through and it would take every single, word one by one. It would then append, like AA through, 99 or, depending if you had special characters as well, it would add those to every single word before moving on to the next word. So it increases the size in the key space that you have for guesses. Another option for that would be you can take word lists and you can combine them together and, like sort of like Legos and, make new words and phrases and stuff. So for things like passphrases, or, passwords that have spaces in them, things like that, sometimes adding, one word list, an underscore or a space or a dash, and then another word list, and you can, substitute that space, dash, or whatever with, a mask attack to add another character in between there to separate them out. And you can sometimes crack really long, complex passwords that way. Does that answer your question?
Like wireless, like if you look at Netgear, the worst thing about Netgear routers, it's noun, verb, number. So once you figure out how their combination for their default is, any wireless passwords, I can crack in like 15 seconds because I know what the combination is.
Like hollow tree 127. Any other questions?
So let's say instead of 10 password hashes in the next 3 minutes, you had 10 password hashes in the next 30 seconds, what would you do differently?
So then, in that case, I would basically, I take my word list. Let's say we had, I think this will work. Nope, I'm missing a quote. We can try something like this. Trent knows exactly what I'm trying to do and is watching me struggle through this. well, basically, you'd have each word, and let's see if this will work. So we have each word in the word list, right? If we did an MD5 sum of each one. You echo what? Oh, tack N. Okay, yeah. So I don't even know if I have MD5 sum on this. Nope, that's not going to. Oh, I see, okay. That might work, there we go. So yeah, so pretty much you'd have that, and then you'd have echo, tag N, word. Well, you get the idea. I would have to. Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what the idea behind this is. So you can sort of see what I was trying to accomplish there. You'd basically have the password and you'd have the hash for that. So you could do it with pwn tools in Python. I don't have that installed here, so I'm not going to be able to demo that. But effectively, the idea behind it is you're, again, creating a dictionary list. So you'd have the word in one dictionary, and then as the key in the dictionary, and the value would be the hash. And then you'd automate it so the pwn tools would then connect out to the netcat server. It would pull down the hash, parse it out, and it would say, okay, we have an MD5 type of hash, and this is the hash. It would then compare it to what is stored in your list. So you run through a for loop on there, and then it would find, okay, here's the hash that we have from the netcat server. Here's what we have in the dictionary, and we can look up the key value pair associated with that, return that value, and then send that on to the server. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? All right, thank you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, round of applause for Adam. He did not expect to have to do this today. Thank you for doing that last minute. So we will meet back here at 3 for the final. So if you're one of the top 5 people to end up on the scoreboard, show up, bring a laptop, and be ready to plug in. We're going to do a live hacking challenge. I know at least one of the people had to bounce. So if you were not one of the top 5 but still want to play, feel free to have a laptop ready to go and plug in any empty seat that exists. But we'll kick that off right around 3. We might have one more demo at 3, and then we'll do the live event right after that. So, all right. See you guys. Thanks.